the first rule of copywriting, if you're listening to this and you want to be a copywriter, listen to this bit, record this bit and write it down. The first rule of copywriting is you do what the client wants. Okay, that's the first rule, because ultimately if the client wants something and the client's happy for something, they're the one who pays you, brilliant, do that. Even if it goes against your copywriting instinct, do what the client wants. If that is not a problem, then your next objective is to do what works and do what is going to make money for the client, okay? Usually, if you're good at talking, those two things are always in step with each other. Sometimes they can be at odds. If that's the case, just do what the client wants because they're the one that pays you. So just to answer your first question, I don't know if this is going to do what your clients want because I'm not your client. The client will only tell you that when you've submitted to them and they say, oh, this goes for it exactly. I can tell you what's going to evoke anticipation and excitement. I can tell you what's going to, or what I think will do. I can't tell you if your clients are going to see it that way. So I will bear that in mind. Subject line options. And remember, guys, this is going to what they think is a cold list. The only bit of context I don't have is how did they get on this list? Do they already know this company in any way? Like, it's mostly cold, so I'm going to assume they don't. They have emails from past or present clients. I'm not quite sure what that means in this context. But what I'm going to assume is that this is effectively a list share. It's coming from a company they've never heard of, but we know that they're at least somewhat interested in food because they may have gotten emails from past or present clients. So I'm guessing it's a similar area. That's going to be my assumption. Subject line options. Get your taste buds ready. The biggest food event of 2024 is coming. Preview text. Open up. Now's your chance to win a juicy prize. Number 2. Counting down to 2024's most epic food event. Preview text. Are your taste buds ready? Chance to win a juicy prize. Number 3. Incoming this year's most epic food event. Preview text. Open up. Your chance to win big inside. Alerting all foodies. Get your taste buds ready. Preview text. 2024's most epic food event is right around the corner. Trending now. Countdown to 2024's most epic food event. Preview text. And how you can grab a juicy prize. Okay. Here's my opinion. I can tell you from my experience which 2 emails from those 5 I would test because I think they will do the best. I want to hear if you got, for the 40 people watching this, guess which 2 you think I'm going to pick out. Of those 5, guess 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which 2 do you think I'm going to pick? Or which 2 would you pick? Which 2 would you think would do best? I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. Okay, cool. Right. So we've got people saying 3 and 5, 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 4, only 3 because it calls out the reader. All right, guys, good guesses. Across the board, pretty good guesses there. From my experience, the 2 that I would test because I think would work is number 3 and number 4. So well done. If you said 3 and 4, good job, guys. Like I'm impressed. For everyone else saying different numbers, like, don't worry. This is just my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm going to be right, okay? Like, if you ever see some schmuck on camera say, hey, what do you think? And then you get it wrong, don't worry about it. I've got stuff wrong before when people have asked on camera, okay? It's our opinions at the end of the day. The only way to know that's going to work is actually testing it. So my opinion is 3 and 4. Why do I say that? Okay, 1, this is super intriguing. Incoming. I've seen the tests of this. I've had it on good authority that this works in other niches as well. The eyeballs emoji with some kind of call to interest there, some kind of intrigue, works very well. So, for example, like it's true, 2 eyes, or no way, 2 eyes, as in the eyes emoji, works well. Incoming with the eyes immediately just makes me go like, oh, this is something that might be of interest. Like, for some reason, it just works very well, because let's be honest, it does look quite intriguing. And then it follows as this year's most epic food event. Now, I saw someone say this, Mohammed, I saw you say this, Defo 3 because it calls out the reader. And that actually is my next point. The reason I put 3 and 4, the reason 4 I think does well, is because it immediately calls out the reader, just as this one kind of does with saying food event. I've written a lot of emails. I will try and calculate how many emails I've written at some point, but it is definitely in the thousands, maybe tens of thousands. I don't know if that's too many, but like it's definitely in the thousands. And the something I see consistently, like of all the emails I've written, okay, the ones that almost always do the best are the ones where you're focusing on something relevant, something you already know about the reader. If you just throw that out at them, especially if it's a cold list, they're probably going to open it, you know, as compared to other ones. Now, incoming and alerting all foodies. One, this is intriguing. That's why I picked that. Alerting all foodies. If you consider yourself a foodie, you're probably going to be like, okay, well, yeah, I'm a self-declared foodie. I want to see what this email is about. That's why I would pick 3 and 4, personally. Doesn't mean the others might not win. Trending now might be an interesting thing. I've never used that personally, so it might be interesting to see. But alerting all foodies, get your taste bud ready. Now, get your taste buds ready, and this is something I'll say here, that is fluff copy. You could certainly try it, but this is the kind of thing that brands like to see, and they might go like, oh, that was really good copy. Oh, that was so fun, interesting, quirky, cute, funny, whatever. Point is, get your taste bud ready. Doesn't really tell me anything, and it's making me do the work to assume that I have to be interested in food to open this thing. So it's just quite a generic, very kind of e-com focus, like every snack brand would do that kind of thing. So that's a bit annoying. But of those 5, these are the 2 that I would give. And one other reason that I would say this is because the preview text of this one in particular starts with 2024's most epic food event. Another subject line that I would try, because you said this is Hong Kong. You said it's localized to Hong Kong. I assume it's localized to Hong Kong. It may not be. I'm going to assume it is. I would say Hong Kong's biggest food event. Like, get ready to register, okay? Or incoming or whatever. Reason being is that a food event, okay, and this is where we cycle away from the copy a little bit. Who's going to be interested in going to a food event? Well, people who are foodies, number one. And that's pretty much it. Maybe if you're in the area and you have some time, you might go. Or if you see something that's really interesting there that you really want to see, you might go. Ultimately, the only people who are probably going to make time for a food event are people who get excited by seeing the words big food event. Like, so put that in front of them. Just look very clearly, very plainly, 2024's Hong Kong's biggest food event, or the best food event of 2024 coming soon. Right? Like, that at least gets me interested because I already have a vested interest in that kind of thing. So I would just start one that just starts with that. None of the kind of counting down, none of the get your taste bud ready, none of the fluff. Because the other thing about emails is, remember, there's finite amount of space. So you want to make sure the most important point is at the beginning of that email. Subject line. So that's my feedback on that.